Good evening, my name is James Geldard, and today I will be presenting on the NotPetya cyber attack of 2017. For today's agenda, we'll be starting with an introduction to the cyber attack, then we'll go into the historical background, the major players involved, the methods used by the attackers, the counterintelligence and detection methods, the impact on affected entities, and finally, we will get to the conclusion. So for the introduction, we are analyzing today the NotPetya cyber attack of 2017, one of the most destructive and costly cybersecurity incidents to date. NotPetya's design and impact underline its significance in the landscape of cyber threats. The objective for today is to conduct a comprehensive examination of this incident through various lenses such as historical context, the attacker's profile, methodologies used, detection and counter-intel measures, and then the subsequent impacts on a global scale. The significance of this attack is that in understanding NotPetya and how crucial it is for improving future cybersecurity strategies and frameworks, this helps us in identifying vulnerabilities within current systems that could be exploited by similar attacks. So we're going to explore the evolution from Petya to NotPetya, right? Detailed parties involved, discuss technical and strategic aspects of the attack, review the countermeasures, and assess the broader consequences. The sources for today will be from news sources, technical breakdowns, reports from cybersecurity firms, so that way we get a well-rounded perspective on the attack. Moving on to the historical background. The origins of NotPetya. So Petya ransomware first surfaced in 2016, primarily targeting Windows servers. It encrypted master boot records for ransom demands. Unlike its predecessor, though, NotPetya appeared in 2017, was designed not to secure a ransom, but to disrupt and erase data. So the evolution from Petya into NotPetya. NotPetya mimicked the Petya ransomware, but was fundamentally different. It was a wiper malware intended to cause irreversible damage to data and systems operations, masquerading as ransomware. The initial discovery and spread. The first case of NotPetya were reported in Ukraine, where it rapidly spread through a compromised accounting software update mechanism, affecting countless computers across the country and then globally. The target and intent behind the choice of initial targets and the nature of the payload suggested a geopolitical motive, which usually in this case points towards Russia, likely orchestrated by state-sponsored actors aiming to destabilize specific economic and government infrastructures. The broader deployment after Ukraine, NotPetya exploited vulnerabilities in the Microsoft Windows OS using the same tools leaked from the NSA that were also used by the WannaCry, such as the Eternal Blue toolkit that was put out there by the Shadow Syndicate. And this facilitated the rapid global spread. So we're now moving on to the major players involved. The attackers. The attack is widely attributed to the Russian military intelligence, the GRU, based on forensic evidence and the nature of the malware's deployment, which aligns with Russian geopolitical interests in Ukraine. Ukraine was the first to accuse Russia of this, and the US findings by the NSA and the CIA also pointed towards Russia. Victims and impact. Major global corporations such as Maersk, and FedEx experienced severe disruptions. And those are just three of the companies that were disrupted. In Ukraine itself, government, media, and financial sectors were crippled, highlighting the extensive reach of the attack. These cybersecurity responders, companies like CrowdStrike and national cybersecurity bodies across Europe and the US played crucial roles in analyzing the attack, mitigating its spread, and aiding recovery efforts. So in the US, that would be the NSA. Cooperative efforts. The incident prompted an unprecedented level of cooperation between private sector cybersecurity firms and national governments aimed at dissecting the attacker's framework and preventing future incidents. As far as long-term security enhancements are concerned, as a direct consequence of this attack, there were significant investments in enhancing cybersecurity protocols, particularly concerning nation-state threats, by both affected organizations. So remember, we mentioned FedEx and Maersk, and those observing from afar. Moving on now to the methods used by the attackers. The infection vector, right? NotPetya initially infected systems through a compromised accounting update mechanism in MEDOC, which is a widely used software in Ukraine. This demonstrates the risk inherent in the software supply chain and the importance of securing update mechanisms. Next is the exploitation of eternal blue, which was the propagation technique. The malware spread across networks by exploiting the eternal blue vulnerability previously used by WannaCry, and that was a tool in the NSA that was, again, released by the shadow broker. This SMB vulnerability allowed NotPetya to propagate quickly within corporate networks without user interaction. The damage mechanism was or had data wiping capability. Unlike typical ransomware, NotPetya was designed to permanently destroy data, making recovery impossible. This was achieved by overriding and corrupting files beyond recovery, encrypting them, and deleting specific files. Lateral movement. Once inside a network, NotPetya used credential harvesting techniques to move laterally, infecting as many machines as possible, demonstrating the need for robust network segmentations and monitoring, such as security access monitoring. Deceptive appearance. The ransom note displayed by NotPetya suggested a financial motive, but in actuality, once you actually tried to pay to decrypt your files, it indicated its true purpose as a tool for sabotage rather than financial gain, because in most cases, you would not actually get your files back all in one piece. They would be destroyed, encrypted, deleted. Moving on to counterintelligence and detection methods. Initial detection challenges arose due to its sophisticated design and rapid spread. So detecting NotPetya in its early stages was extremely challenging. The malware used multiple evasion techniques, making it difficult for traditional antivirus programs to identify and isolate it. Again, this goes back to Eternal Blue being an NSA tool. Improvement in detection post-attack. Right. So in the aftermath of the NotPetya attack, there was significant improvement in detection methodologies with a greater emphasis on behavioral analysis over just signature-based detection in order to catch similar threats. So then the international cooperation was one of the best practices that was implemented. The attack highlighted the necessity for international cooperation in cyber threat intelligence sharing. In a post-NotPetya world, try saying that, that's a mouthful, there was an increase in the establishment of information sharing frameworks amongst countries and corporations. Now, the US already does this with the Five Eyes allies, where they share a lot of the cybersecurity information and resources. Another best practice that was implemented was enhancing security protocols. Organizations globally reviewed and often overhauled their cybersecurity strategies. This included adopting stricter access controls, frequent security audits, and advanced endpoint detection and response systems. And then finally, the public and private sector collaborations after this attack had a higher degree of collaboration between them, focusing on improving resiliency against state-sponsored operations. So now the impact on affected entities, financial losses, and economic outcome. NotPetya is estimated to have caused over $10 billion in economic losses. Companies like Maersk and Merck reported massive operational disruptions, including significant downtime on their operations and extensive data loss. As far as recovery and costs are concerned, recovery from the attack required extensive resources. Affected companies spent millions on IT recovery, system replacements, and strengthened future cybersecurity defenses. Legal and insurance implications. The attack reshaped the cyber insurance market, with now many insurance companies reconsidering coverage terms and conditions for cyber attacks. This led to higher premiums and more stringent policy requirements in this space. As far as the regulatory and policy changes, governments and regulatory agencies pushed for tighter cybersecurity regulations and standards, particularly concerning critical infrastructure and supply chains. Finally, awareness and preparedness. NotPetya significantly raised awareness about the potential for disruptive cyber attacks and the accelerated investment in cybersecurity preparedness amongst companies worldwide. In conclusion, some lessons learned and key takeaways. The NotPetya attack underlines the importance of vigilance, preparedness, and resilience in an interconnected digital world. It demonstrates the need for robust, tested backups, quick patch management, and comprehensive disaster recovery plans. The strategic importance of this attack. So the evolving nature of cyber threats necessitates continuous improvement in cybersecurity strategies and technologies. It's a continuous cycle. State-sponsored attacks like NotPetya highlight the blend of cyber warfare and geopolitical strategies. Looking to the future, as far as preparation is concerned, the lessons from NotPetya must guide future cybersecurity policies and practices and best practices. Ensuring a secure and resilient digital infrastructure is crucial for defending against the growing sophistication of cyber threats. And finally, there's a call to action for continued vigilance. Organizations must adopt a proactive security posture, not simply reactive. Engage in regular security training, implement multi-factor authentication, and ensure timely updates and patches to safeguard against similar threats. The faster you roll out the patches and updates, the faster you can plug any of the holes that are in your security. As I was saying, vigilance, the global community must remain vigilant, share threat intelligence actively, and cooperate across borders to enhance collective cybersecurity and mitigate the risk of future attacks. These are the works cited. If you have any questions concerning them, you can go to these. I highly recommend them. There's some excellent reading. Pending any further questions, this concludes my presentation. Thank you.